right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Got a whole bunch of crypto news stuff for you today. It's a very interesting day, and we're gonna kind of get through some very odd articles, I suppose. BitTorrent launches token support for a decentralized internet. That sounds a lot like Tron. Is that Tron? It does sound like a lot like Tron. San Francisco-based consumer software company and pioneer decentralized peer-to-peer network BitTorrent announced the launch of its token to push for the development of a decentralized internet. What does that mean? Ask Tron, and Tron doesn't know either what a decentralized internet is. I suppose it's never really particularly decentralized if you have to go through your ISP or even a VPN. So, and then after that, it sort of already is decentralized. I mean, I can make a website of just about whatever I want, as long as it's not too insanely illegal. I don't know. In a statement, the company said the token would be called BitTorrent and would be issued by BitTorrent Foundation. Wow, really clever, guys. BitTorrent. I didn't think you would name it that. Well, which is, it's based in Singapore. The token would allow users swap tokens in a bid to increase internet speed. BitTorrent tokens are expected to provide users with the capability for faster downloads and to hasten the overall pace of torrents. BitTorrent token is the first in a series of steps to support a decentralized internet, explained Tron founder and BitTorrent chief executive officer Justin Sun. He added, in one giant leap, the BitTorrent client could introduce blockchain to hundreds of millions of users across the globe and empower a new generation of content creators with tools to distribute their content directly on others on the web. All right. So it's Justin Sun making an announcement about an announcement that one day he will maybe make an announcement. Justin Sun, the king of announcements. So this was Tron. Sounded exactly like Tron. Anybody that says decentralized internet sounds a lot like Tron. So again, he's now the CEO of BitTorrent because BitTorrent was bought by Tron and Justin Sun, whatever. So the new token's available only to non-US account holders. Of course, it's only available to non-US account holders on Binance Launchpad, the token sale platform developed by cryptocurrency exchange operator Binance. Features native TRC10 compatibility, the press statement added. So, awesome. I mean, I don't know what to think about this, but it could be big news, or it could be just more Justin Sun nonsense announcement. So, only time will tell, but the TRC10, basically like Tron's version of ERC20, Ethereum token kind of deal. Moving on to the next article here. Once cash is gone, Bitcoin is society's best hope for privacy. The article, which came in an edition of the Times along with the front page advisement to honor Bitcoin's 10th birthday, forecast the death of cash coming sooner than you think. And that actually kind of may be true. Who knows? Long the best form of financial privacy, cash will disappear as governments seek to digitize economies and encroach on ever more data about their citizens, which I've been kind of warning about as well. I don't mean to sound like Alex Jones here, but boy, governments would just love to have a blockchain ledger that doesn't show what they do, but shows exactly what you do. Now, because if blockchain just took over to the central banks or something like that, the Federal Reserve or central banks, whatever country you live in, then it would show their public ledger, and they can't have that. That wouldn't be good, right? So you just kind of make a digital currency that shows everything that everybody else is doing and not the government. Oh man, it's genius. So sooner than you think, cash will not be an option for privacy or anything else. Cash, in my opinion, is pretty expensive. You got to make it. You got to get the resources to make it. You got to truck it to places. You got to print it. You got to hire people. You got to hire people to look over the cash. Then you got to send the cash to banks. Then the banks have to distribute the cash. And you got to distribute the cash. Then you got to take the old cash from the 70s and 60s and stuff like that, old bills, and you got to destroy those bills because then because it doesn't last forever because it's cash. So it's a big operation. It's more than you think of just like having cash or producing cash. There's a lot of resources, a lot of trucking, a lot of accountants, a lot of government employees, or at least somewhat government employees, even though it's Federal Reserve, I get it. But like, and then putting it to banks, and then having banks deal with it, and wrapping it up, and using trucks to push it around. So there's just a lot that goes in it, and it would just be a lot easier for the government, a lot easier for everybody to have digital cash. But the problem is your privacy would be completely eliminated. No more going down to the local drug dealer's house. No more going down to the local trap house, spending a quick 50 on a nice little ball. You know what I mean? No more of that, because cash won't exist. So people will have to use other things. And that's digital currencies, or whatever. I don't know. And private citizens will come to appreciate the inherent value of Bitcoin, as their ability to discreetly hold and transfer value evaporates once cash goes the way of the dodo. So another thing, the dodo, by the way, was only found on Mauritius Island. So, I don't know. Fast fact, right? Anyway, so I don't know about Bitcoin so much in this. Like, if you really want privacy, might as well just go Monero or, like, Zcash in some way, as Bitcoin has been found lately, or at least speculated, that the government can easily track Bitcoin transactions, and that's not surprising given the NSA's incredible budget. So that kind of reminds me of what's going on with our debt. As debt rises, the government will soon spend more interest than on the military, and this goes as far as the United States, but likely, maybe your country too. The federal government could soon pay more in interest on its debt than it spends on the military, Medicaid, or children's programs. The run-up in borrowing costs is a 1-2 punch brought on by the need to finance a fast-growing budget deficit, worsened by tax cuts and steadily rising interest rates that will make the debt even more expensive. And recently, the Federal Reserve, so this is from September 25th, when quantitative easing was basically zero interest. And now we actually have interest, and everybody's for some reason blaming that on Trump. And I don't mean to even defend our president or Trump, because I couldn't care less. I really couldn't. But that has nothing to do with the president. It has nothing to do with the president of the United States. The Federal Reserve is like, okay, we're going to start interest rates again, and that's their decision, because they're just outside of the government for some insane reason that our government was just like, oh yeah, no, we can't produce cash anymore. We better have these guys produce cash, like the guys that everybody warned us about for like 300 years. We better let them in and make our cash for us. Like, what? Okay, that blows my mind. And so it has nothing to do with him, and everything to do with the Federal Reserve that is just bringing the interest rate back up. So within a decade, more than $900 billion in interest payments will be due annually, easily outpacing spending on a myriad of other programs. Already the fastest growing major government expense, the cost on interest is on track to hit $390 billion next year, nearly 50% more than in 2017. So by 2023, we are expected to pay well over $900 billion. Just this chart shows about $950 billion in 2018. But it is said, I've read numerous places, that about 2023 we'll be spending a little bit more than what we spend on the military. Now, for some reason, I kind of doubt that because of all the black budget programs and the missing $2 trillion that just couldn't be found just before 9/11. Donald Rumsfeld was like, no, we can't track $2 trillion. How do you lose $2 trillion? I don't know, which is you spend a little bit too much at McDonald's. You know, it's kind of like when you're going to work every day and you're like, ah, man, McDonald's is on the way to work every day. I can get myself a nice little sandwich, right? And then you come to find out at the end of the work period that you bought like 14 sandwiches at McDonald's on the way to work because they're just so delicious, right? Your early morning breakfast. But really, those sandwiches are like $6.40 a piece. And you come to realize, you're like, hey, I'm missing $148 here. It must have been the McDonald's, right? But $2 trillion, I don't know how you can, I'm pretty sure that's on purpose. That's pretty much on purpose. So with crypto, you can just see here, we're in a lot of trouble. We're in a lot of trouble, and you need to hedge your money. And I don't know if the stock market anymore is a really good idea, because I think we have been in a bear market, the longest bear market in quite some time. The second longest bear market, or at least the closest one in history, was from 1991 to 2001, 10 years. And we have been in our bear market, or bull market for the stock market, for 10 years, since about 2008 or 2009, after the housing crisis and everything started to go back up with quantitative easing. Oh, thank you, our Federal Reserve and world banker overlords. Thank you so much for just being so good and being like, hey, you guys don't have to pay interest for a little while. Wow, 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 wow. Thank you, right? So the government is just paying interest to bankers, which basically rule the world. You have to say that objectively. If your government actually has to bow down and pay interest to a private entity private entity bankers all over the world, then your government doesn't rule. The bankers do. That's objective reasoning. That's not even Alex Jones conspiracy stuff there. This isn't gay frogs, right? This is real. So if I was the government, and it has been done in the past, even Germany did it, although that was the Treaty of Versailles, which is totally different. And they just said, hey, screw you guys. We're not paying interest. Why? Why not just print your own money? But everybody's got their pockets in it, and, I'll give you this much money if you say this at Congress. I'll give you this much money if you pass the bill. We'll raise interest on you. We won't give you all your free money anymore. Well, you could just accept infinite debt, and we'll give you infinite money. So, interesting how that all works. So I think one of the best hedges right now is crypto, and then that way you'll be able to pay everybody, and not have to worry about government inflation and such. Bonds are good when the money goes down, but again, that's sort of with the government as well. So, very interesting world that we are living in. So more on the hacker group releases 9/11 papers. Says future leaks will burn down the U.S. deep state. I don't know why I doubt that, but I'm still interested to see what they got. So this is a really long article. We're not going to talk about it so much, but you guys can find these leaks. They also have a Steemit account. Their Steam account is called The Dark Overlord. So if you go to Steemit and you type in the search The Dark Overlord, you will see this hacker group's profile, and they have released those documents on that profile. Now, I went to the Steemit and I checked it out a little bit, and mostly the documents that they released like 650 documents so far, the layer 1 they call it, and they've received more than 12,000 in Bitcoin. So interestingly, this has sort of flipped, and you'll see what I mean by that in a second. So at first, the Dark Overlord, this hacker group, said if we don't get certain amount of Bitcoin, we will release these documents. Now that has flipped completely, 180, if you will. And now it's, we will not release these documents unless we receive Bitcoin. So people have been paying them Bitcoin to release these documents. So I hope this isn't just a scam, and that they're just like releasing nonsense essentially. But what they have released so far is not amazing. What they released so far is basically just a few names and some speculation and just people talking about the the FAA and stuff like that. Really just nothing good so far. They really just talked about the TSA and, it's just some names. It's just real nonsense. So you guys can go to this Steam and you can look at the documents yourself. So far, nothing interesting whatsoever. Some people talking about the insurance and speculating over it and stuff like that. So we'll have to see. I'll keep you guys updated with all this stuff when better stuff comes out. But I just wanted to hit on this real quick. You guys can find this article. It's on RT, which I can't stand RT News anymore. But it's just called Hacker Group Releases 9/11 Papers, says future leaks will burn down U.S. state. So you can Google that yourself and read this. But for the most part, nothing really big was released. So I'm just trying to save you guys time. If you guys are like really interested in this right now, nothing interesting came out. It's like one of those leaks that like when you read it, you're like, well, what is this? And even people asked the Dark Overlord hacker group like what they think of the documents, and at first they said that they don't want to say what they think of it because that would be biased. So it's basically nonsense. So the layer 1 is just nonsense at the moment. So they received $12,000 in Bitcoin for basically nothing. Ethereum core devs to move forward with the ASIC-resistant proof-of-work algorithm. I talked about this a little bit yesterday. Ethereum core developers have reached a tentative consensus to implement a new proof-of-work algorithm that would increase the efficiency of GPU-based as opposed to ASIC-based mining on the network. During the meeting, developer Jameson noted that he had very little dissent to implementing Prague proof-of-work, which has so far been trialed via client implementations running on the Gangnam testnet. ASIC refers to blah, blah, blah. I don't even know why they put these in here. Like, ASIC refers to mining hardware that uses application-specific integrated circuit. Like, as if anybody actually reading these articles has no idea what an ASIC is. So 2 developers from the progressive proof-of-work team gave their digest of recent developments to the algorithm specification, which have reportedly not only made it a little bit harder for ASIC miners, but have also stabilized hash rates. So what is a little bit harder for ASICs? I guess ASICs may still run on the Ethereum network, but maybe not as efficiently. I don't know. Security-led Martin Holst gave his opinion on progressive proof of work as more resistant both to ASICs and to certain accelerators that can be used for GPU-based setups. And that made a switch to progressive proof of work would postpone the level of ASICs on our network for at least a year, or perhaps more. Now, this is interesting what it says after that. So more resistant to both ASICs and certain accelerators that can be used for GPU-based setups. Now, what is a certain accelerator? That sounds a lot like Acorns from, I think, the Squirrel Company or whatever it was. Now, Acorns are basically, they look like little M2 hard drive, and they basically look like a big RAM chip. You put them in, and they will increase the efficiency of your GPUs. They're like little ASICs. And it will essentially, according to what this said, will brick those. And so anybody that ordered those, there's a little bit of a problem with ASICs right now, with the Acorns right now, and the fact that they don't work. There's no software for them. Now, I'm not going to get into that very much because not many people really know much about that. There isn't really a lot of articles, but basically there's just no software for the Acorns right now, and that means that they don't work. You can use them to mine a little bit on a very specific coin, but otherwise they just don't work. So that will brick them for sure when progressive proof of work comes out, at least for Ethereum. So interesting. So that should lead to a lot better profits for anybody with GPUs. So if you have a lot of GPUs, you've been mining Ethereum, and you notice your profits going way down, it's probably because of ASICs. And with this, should come out in a few months, is what they expected that it should come out in. And with that, your GPUs should be at least a little bit more profitable with all of that hash rate gone, in the same way that Monero was once they got rid of their ASICs. So moving on to CoinMarketCap here, nothing too special today. 132 billion market cap, still at that $3,800 range, nearly 3,900, and Bitcoin dominance down to 50.9%, meaning altcoins still going up a little bit more and dragging that dominance down just a little bit. Interestingly, Ethereum, a little bit there, not lately. It was, I think, yesterday or last night, Ethereum actually had a higher value than Bitcoin Cash, which was pretty interesting. So still going strong here. Ethereum took back its #2 spot from XRP, and now ahead by about 2 billion. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the video. And as usual, I will see you guys next time.